I'm freaking out at the moment. That grass looks greener is that one. Hello everyone, and I hope you're doing well, and you know what time it is. It's TCG Banlist time. Now, I was walking home from locals and I saw the tweet come out, so I've literally sprinted home, so forgive me if I'm out of breath, but we're going to find out what has been hit on this new ban list. Now, this is a very anticipated ban list. Post your horses throwing up. Now is the time to see if this is going to fix this format that so many players are frustrated with. Let's have a quick look. I have had a glimpse at the forbidden list, and honestly, I'm hyped. So let's go. Let's have a look. These are the forbidden so far. We have Fiendsmith Lacrima. This is really interesting. I'm so surprised that Fiendsmiths have had a direct hit immediately. This is very uncommon for Konami. I don't think they've done this in a long time, for at least as long as I've been playing for the past couple of years. New cards generally don't get hit. Now, this was a massive point of frustration for Fiendsmith, since it does quite a lot, but the one annoying thing is that it also burns your opponent. So not only is it a great card, it burns for time as well. So to see that banned, I think it's going to make Fiendsmith be a bit more fair to play against. It is a bit of an insane engine, and I can see there is another hit to Fiendsmith on there at the bottom, but we'll go over that in a second. We've got Appaloosa ban, which is really interesting. I personally didn't think that Appo was a problem, but Konami are going after the generic negates, as we saw in Barone in the last list, the Borrelode Dragon. They're gone, so I guess they're trying to clear out all these generic negates that people were and are still currently frustrated at. The next one I see is so good. I'm so glad that we finally got around to banning this in the TCG. As far as I know, OCG and Martial have banned Calamity, and now we have as well. I'm glad. Calamity is a really frustrating card to play against. Centurion is the one that uses this the most at the moment. Pretty much just stops you from playing the entire game, so it's very, very frustrating to go against. So I'm glad that's gone, and hopefully that allows decks like Centurion to be a bit more fun and go into a couple of different options rather than just trying to get Calamity out as much as possible just to get these non-games. Now, the last forbidden card, which is probably the most expected forbidden on this entire list, which is Beetroot or Beatrice. Now, if you don't know, Fiendsmith engine pretty much vomits out 2 6s in the form of Engraver, which means Beatrice can just pop off immediately. It's basically free. So seeing Beatrice on this list is not surprising in the slightest, and it needed to go. There's been many formats where Beatrice looked like it could go, but this one, it definitely needed to go. I'm very happy with these hits. Appo maybe is the only one I'm not amazed with, but I think it's a step in the right direction, and honestly I'm glad to see some problem cards hit here. Let's move on to the limited. Oh my god, there's a lot of cards on here. Okay, so the first one on the list, we have Ava, which I believe was banned previously. They have been releasing some new Drytron support, and I know Ava was used in Drytron quite a lot. It's a very, very powerful card. I'm surprised to see it back, but I suppose they want to push that Drytron support a bit more. And if you've watched MBT's latest 10-minute testing with Drytron, it does look pretty powerful, so hopefully this gives it a bit of a push, possibly makes it a bit of a meta contender. Now, what I am glad to see is that Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Poplar are both limited to 1. Thank God. Now, Ash, I think, is the important one here. This is your 1-card starter, and having 3 of them felt a bit ridiculous. Now, having Ash at 1 means if you get a negate on that, it's pretty much game over. And if you can manage to banish it or anything like that, that's brilliant. Poplar to 1 is good. It's a consistency here, but you're usually searching Poplar off the Ash. So Poplar to 1 is okay, but it's good to see some Snake Eye hits. Now we have some Gimmick Puppet hits, I suppose, to make the FTK worse. I'll be honest, I don't have a big opinion on the Gimmick Puppet bans or limits here. I don't know how the deck works particularly, so I can't tell whether these are good or bad. So let me know in the comments, what do you think the Gimmick Puppets, will they be hit by this? I'm not sure. Branded Fusion to 1, it's about time. The OCG and Master have had it at 1, and it's still a powerful deck. I think it's still a very, very powerful deck. Now that I mention it, we didn't see Albion on the forbidden list, which is interesting, or the gimmick puppet, so that's strange. Didn't even think of that when we first saw the list, so that's interesting. Branded Fusion to 1, I mean, it makes sense. Branded is still a very, very powerful deck, and it will continue to be, even with 1 Branded Fusion. It just makes it a very clear choke point. It already was, but it gives it a bit of a knock. Opening off the Spirit Gates. This is a Yubel hit. Really good hit for Yubel, actually. It's quite a good starter in the deck from what I know. Lets you grab your 0 attack, usually Dark Beckoning Beast, I believe. So having this hits a 1, hits the consistency a little bit. So it's good to hit Yubel if we're hitting Snake Eyes as well, because they're both quite high up in the metagame at the moment. Pot of Prosperity to 1. This is expected. I'm surprised it's lasted this long. We've had a good amount of time after the reprint as well, so it's not like a case of Rarity Collection 1 where they've reprinted it and immediately hit it. So I'm glad to see Prosperity at 1, whilst I think consistency, like hitting consistency in general, is a bit painful. I think Prosperity is one of the most insane pots that you can run, so seeing this at 1 is not a surprise. Speaking of not a surprise, Sangan Summoning, I think everyone I spoke to saw that Sangan Summoning was going to go to 1. It's an insane field spell. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, or wouldn't have been surprised if it was banned, but I suppose they can't kill the deck that early on. And hopefully it makes playing against Tenpai a bit more bearable. Sangan Summoning, for me, and I know a few others, is a source of great frustration for Tenpai, because it means you just can't interact with your opponent pretty much. So seeing that at 1 is brilliant. I have been holding in, freaking out at the moment. That Grasslook Screener is at 1. I absolutely love that Grasslook Screener. I think it's one of the funniest cards that you can ever resolve, and seeing it limited again makes me so happy. I just looked up the price, and unfortunately it's £50 a copy. I suppose everyone's buying it out at the moment, but the fact that it's on the limited list is awesome. I hope it gets a reprint soon. I love this card to bits. I wish I picked one up sooner. The last card on the list, I'm surprised this isn't banned, but I suppose with the Floodgates, they are limiting them to 1 at the moment, which is Skill Drain. Skill Drain is one of the most painful ones at the moment, mainly because Snake Eyes can send it on their turn, so it's pretty much a one-sided Floodgate for your opponent. But I understand that their philosophy seems to be at the moment that they are limiting the Floodgates to 1, like Teak Boo Goes and all that. So I guess Skill Drain is also fitting that motif. Weird that Summon Limit was banned, but Skill Drain wasn't. I'm still not seeing why they didn't ban Skill Drain, but I'll take it. I think we'll take it. Any less Floodgates, the better. But overall, this seems to be very solid. The Snake Eye hits so far are great. I wouldn't have been opposed to banning Flamberge, but that cross looks greener. I'm so happy about that. Oh my god. Okay, well, I need to change my deck list now. My Kashtira deck is going to need some amendments, but let's go. Let's move to the semi-limited list. Let's have a look. Okay, there's some interesting ones. We have every single Dragon Ruler. I'm not sure why they're going for semi-limit here. Maybe they're too scared still. I don't think the Dragon Rulers are doing anything in this format. Yeah, these days, I think Master Duel has them limit 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they're not really doing anything. They did something in Dragon Link, but Dragon Link isn't really a deck at the moment. Maybe this helps it, but I really doubt it. Lunalight Tiger. I'm going to need to look that one up. I was never around when Lunalight Tiger was a problem, so I'll be interested to know if taking it from limit 1 to limit 2 makes a difference. You'll have to let me know in the comments if this is a big change, because I just read the card for the first time and it doesn't seem that bad. I think we'll be fine with it too, but that's as a newbie. I've been playing like 3 years competitively, I guess, so we'll see if that makes an impact. Thunder Dragon Colossus at 2. I believe they set it to 1, the last ban list. Interesting. People wanted Colossus banned again. Same with Protoss, actually. We didn't see Protoss on the banned list either. So that's strange. I guess they think it's fine. I mean, it kind of is. I haven't played against it much. I did see it a couple of times at the World Championship qualifiers, but otherwise, I think it's a fair card. Ib, the World Challenge just occur. I believe we had this limit 1 fairly recently. It wasn't last list. I think it's fine. the semi-limited list is so weird. Like, all of these are like, fine, okay, I guess we'll get one more copy of it. If it was a problem and it came back to 2, then maybe that's worth talking about. But all of these have been limit 1, so I think we're not going to face any trouble if they haven't been causing trouble already. I think the only notable one is the Colossus, but I could be wrong. But we're moving on to the arguably most exciting section other than the forbidden, is the unlimited list. Are they going to unhit anything? I'm surprised we didn't see Heavy Storm either, by the way. I know I keep jumping back in with cards I think should have been on the list so far. A lot of formats, or I guess Master Duel specifically, have put Heavy Storm back at 1, and I think it's fair, but I guess not. Maybe it's unlimited, who knows? It's not unlimited, okay. So we have a couple of interesting ones. The cover card at the moment, Time Seal. Skip the draw phase of your opponent's next turn. That being unlimited is interesting. I'm not sure why they'd want to unlimit it, but I suppose Yata isn't doing anything at the moment, and that's arguably a better Time Seal. But the funny thing is, with Time Seal, you can search it off thrust turn 1, so maybe that's a thrust target. Just bought one in case I want to use it for thrust. But that is very interesting that that's come all the way off. I think it could be a bit annoying, but I suppose as Yata has proven, it's a bit slow, and you kind of you'd rather want to see a hand trap than this most of the time. Armageddon Knight to 3, interesting. I mean, I think it's been long enough. Armageddon Knight can come back. Red Rose Dragon. I'm going to need to look this one up as well. I didn't even know this was on the list. It doesn't seem that bad. Maybe this is for Dragon Link. It looks like it could possibly be used in Dragon Link. So maybe all of this is pointing to Dragon Link coming back with all the Dragon Rulers. Who knows? I would be happy to see it back. I suppose Blue Eyes is getting a lot of support soon, so maybe they're looking to work them together. Magispected Unicorn Kirin. We saw this go 2-1 recently, and it hasn't caused any issues, so it going to 3 is fine. Plush Fire. This is another card that I haven't seen in play. I wasn't around when this was a problem. Let me just give it a quick read and see if I can feel out how painful it might be. So it was banned, so this is quite interesting. I know it received an errata in the OCG, so I wonder if we'll get that. I can't tell if this is errata text, but it looks like it could cause some loops that could be a problem. Let me know if you've played with Plush Fire, and are you scared of this hit? Because I don't know whether I should be scared or not. Ancient Fairy Dragon, I mean, it's rarely run, and if it is, it's not run at 3, so I think this is fine. And same with Denglong, really. Denglong is probably a bit more notable, but it's fine. I think it's just gonna it's a good card, but it's not gonna break the meta. Like, I think we're all right. But this ban list, I'm pretty happy with it. I think there are a couple of other things I would have done. I would have maybe banned Flamburger. That might have been too much for Konami, but I'm surprised to see the Fiendsmith Lacrima get banned so early. That is very interesting to me. I don't think it's going to make Fiendsmith any less powerful. I mean, it will make it slightly less powerful, but I think it'll still be a top tier engine. The Snake Eye limits are nice. That grass looks greener. I love you, Konami. I just wish I'd picked up a copy earlier of that grass looks greener. We now have a reasonable reason to be running 60 again. Thank you. And it's a thrust target as well, which is even funnier. The only hit to Tempire, which we saw in the OCG, kind of took over the meta once there was some hits in the other decks, was the Sangan. And I guess Prosperity as well. So hopefully that's enough. Hopefully at least makes it more tolerable to play against. The Snake Eye hits are nice. Personally, I'm just glad the top decks got some hits, but I don't think they're not going to be the top decks anymore. I still think they're going to be... It's going to be Snake Eyes, Fiendsmith, and Yubel Fiendsmith. Yubel barely got hit this list, so I think it's still going to be them at the top, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, unfortunately, especially if this list didn't just outright kill them. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this ban list, and the few hits that I didn't really understand, let me know. Should I be scared of these? Anyway, that being said, if you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh videos each week. And as always, happy dueling.